Hi, everyone. Let's wait a few seconds for attendees to join in. Welcome to the STEM Programs in the USA live session. We will begin in just a moment. If you have any questions for our speaker during the session, please write them in the live chat, and we will answer as many as possible at the end. Okay, Sam, you can begin.
Wonderful. A very good afternoon from St. Louis. And for those of you who are at different time zones, good morning, good evening. Hope you guys won't fall asleep till the end of the presentation, and then I can tell good night too. So my name is Sam Samrat Raichaudhuri. I'm with Webster University. I'm the Director of Enrollment, looking after international admissions particularly. And today I am going to present to you a little bit on STEM programs, explaining them, what they are really. I do know that we have a mixed audience for both undergraduate degree seekers as well as graduate degree seekers. Some people call them bachelors, some people call them masters. So we call here in the US, we call undergrad and grad. So I have tried to put together a presentation that covers both undergrad and grad. And if you are having any questions, feel free to use the chat box to write them, and I'll do my best to kind of like answer them at the end of the session. So Webster University, the place where I am currently, and a little bit about the university, since they are making it happen for us to do this presentation. It's a 100-year-old liberal arts university. It has a main campus located in St. Louis, Missouri. It's a private, nonprofit university, about 12,000 plus students. And it has, what's unique about Webster is that it has campuses across the world. So for example, there's a campus in Austria, there's a campus in Netherlands, there's a campus in Switzerland, there's a campus in Uzbekistan, there's a campus in Singapore, and so on and so forth. So there are campuses across the globe where Webster owns those campuses or have a very strong presence over there. So that means that you not only study in the United States, which is in St. Louis, Missouri, but also in other parts of the world. And for those of you who are not familiar with the word liberal arts, Webster as a university teaches programs that are interdisciplinary in nature. So liberal arts universities typically focus on teaching and learning. They don't do too much of research-oriented programs, but it doesn't mean that they don't teach science. It's not the same as fine arts, okay? So continuing with the information on Webster, we have over 200,000 plus living alumni. Our class sizes are small. We are around 15 students max at a usual class. So our faculty to student ratio is an admirable 1:9. We have students from over 138 different countries. In the St. Louis region, we have 7 traditional residence halls. So it's a campus which has living facilities. You can like literally stay on the campus. Everything is very nearby. And we have students who do internship and capstone. Almost 100% of our students do those kinds of courses. So basically students who are very active, not just in academics, but also outside, okay? So Webster has 5 schools and colleges: College of Arts and Sciences, the Walker School of Business and Technology, the College of Fine Arts, the School of Communications, and the School of Education. So through these schools and colleges, we offer more than 100 undergraduate degrees and close to 70 graduate degrees. So feel free to browse through our website and through Apply Web website and try to figure out if this is a right fit. There are lots of programs. But today, we are going to focus on STEM. Now, Many of you might be very familiar with this, and some of you have heard it and you don't really know what it is. And a lot of you are maybe new to higher education, starting to do your initial research. So I'm kind of like keeping it simple. Pardon me if you already know everything, then all you need to do is just go to the application website and apply. But for those of you who do not have the background, hang in there, okay? So STEM is a short form of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And in United States, these programs receive a specific special code, which distinguishes them and gives them some advantage, okay? For those students who study these courses, they have a certain advantage. I'll come to that in a while. But STEM is a short form of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics in general. So that is STEM, all right? So why is STEM important? I mean, why should science, technology, engineering, mathematics be important as studies? Well, I mean, that's kind of a silly question, isn't it? We all know that these kinds of courses are very important, but why? Why should you really study STEM? So the answer to that is that scientific discoveries and the technological advances that are going to happen in this century and the remaining of this century and further requires us to study STEM. So it's to advance science, it's to advance technology. That is the first thing. The innovation side of things is why STEM is important. We cannot really become stagnant. We won't be able to develop. Like recently during coronavirus pandemic, we had to develop new things, right? We had to develop this way of digital interaction. Earlier, these things would be face-to-face. We had to develop a vaccine. We had to develop so many other things. So all of these would not be possible without science and technology. And one of the practical reasons for you as students why STEM is important is because, excuse me, is because STEM graduates are in great demand across the United States and across the world. If you have studied a STEM program, then you are being, you're being searched and you're being, I would say, being looked as a very, very attractive candidate to fill in jobs that exist. And I personally believe that students who study STEM programs, especially after coming to the United States, they get a return on investment. ROI is a short form of that, much faster and much larger than any other programs. And I have tried to explain those parts, with some statistics and data. Like in the United States, if you look at the next, this era, like till 2029, the Bureau of Labor Statistics look at the STEM job growth at 8%. So any of you who are looking at economic progress in the United States, US GDP is growing as less as 1 or 2%. But if you think of it, the job growth is not very high. Let's say if you are going to study arts, you're going to study something in a business program, the growth is about 3 to 4% in those industries. But in STEM industry, it is about 8%. What does that translate to? So it translates to over 3.5 million jobs just between now and 2025. So imagine how many people are required at various levels, including entry level. I was just this morning playing with my phone and I searched how many entry level STEM jobs are there. So I put some of our programs and I looked at it. It's an amazing 500,000 entry level jobs at this point of time, which are there for United States. So that is one of the things that you would want to look into. And when I talk about STEM, once again, science, engineering, mathematics, and other areas would be important. But from a pure demand perspective, from a pure perspective of how STEM programs are creating jobs and in which areas, you see 75% of them through 2022, around this time, just to give you the relevance, because some of you might be, master's degree students or bachelor's degree who are coming in and will graduate in the next 4 years. The bigger part of the pie is taken by computer science related programs. So today we are going to focus a lot more on computer science related STEM. It does not mean that I do not have any interest in promoting our programs in physical sciences or in life sciences or engineering and mathematics. I just thought we will talk about the most successful program. Now, when I talk about STEM, a lot of the time students across the world where I go and present to high school students and even students who are studying bachelor's degree, they ask me that, can I study STEM? I'm not from a STEM background. I do not have this and this, and am I the right candidate? Am I the right fit? So I think the first thing to answer to that, before you look at your your academic abilities, you would want to see what is the driving force that you have. Are you curious? Are you somebody who loves technology? Are you somebody who loves innovation? So the motivation is very important. In higher education, when we are admitting students, we often ask for a motivational letter. We want to gauge your interest, because even if you have a gap in knowledge, as long as you are motivated, then you are going to be able to put effort, which will yield results, and you will be able to do well. So we look at motivation, and particularly at a university like Webster, which is a liberal arts university, where it is a particular place where the programs are not very tech heavy. There is a combination of management as well as technology, which is where the job growth once again is. So even if you are not a science major, as long as you have taken some basic mathematics, you should be able to do very well. I'll give you an example. Like even students have done commerce in their, or business in their high school as studies, or even general degrees, they are able to come and they can join a science degree, even biological sciences. You can even join pre-engineering programs here. So it does not require you to have a science grade 12th degree, or what you call the high school degree, in order to high school diploma, in order to join a science program at a liberal arts university. Most liberal arts universities will not require that, as long as you meet their admissions criteria, right? So there are lots of good liberal arts universities in America. You should research them and try to find if you are particularly from non-science background. Does it mean that science background students should not choose liberal arts? Quite opposite. I can name lots of universities which you may not know are liberal arts, but they are top-notch science programs. So feel free to study there. Liberal arts usually focuses, as I said, in interdisciplinary approach. So that doesn't mean that they are not strong in their sciences. So at Webster, if you wanted to study STEM programs, you're going to look at biological sciences, maths, physics, computer science, data analytics, and some pre-engineering and pre-dentistry programs, etc. And if you were a graduate student learner, then you would look at cybersecurity, data analytics, management of information systems, data analytics with artificial intelligence as a certificate, information technology management. Once again, I focused on the programs and the science and tech, the job growth area, those kinds of things. And once again, for those of you who are in a bachelor's degree, if you have just graduated as an engineer, you are maybe a civil engineer, or you are somebody who has just graduated with a business degree, you can come into STEM programs. So for example, you're a business student and you want to do data analytics. As long as you have a basic foundation of statistics or mathematics, just a basic idea, you will be able to do very well. You do not need programming. We will teach you over here as part of the curriculum all those things, because it's not hardcore computing. You do not really need for these kinds of programs. You're not becoming a software engineer. You're not developing programs. You're not doing so much of coding. It is more as an analyst. So it is a hybrid program in a way, but it is, because it is STEM coded, it is very important once again, because the jobs are being created once again in those areas. So for those of you who are once again looking for programs, the question is it the right fit? Do you have the motivation? Do you have the motivation to learn something new out of your comfort zone? And if those answers are yes, then you should be able to do very well. I always want to bring in a thing that that usually is related to STEM, and students often ask me that what is the OPT, that we have heard. Maybe some of you have heard about it, some of you have not heard about it, some of you are maybe aware of it as much as I am, or even better than me. OPT's full form is optional practical training. So OPT allows a student, an international student with an F1 visa, to remain in the United States and work for a few years, depending on what kind of program you have learned. So the rule of the thumb is, like any student, if you have graduated a bachelor's degree, even if you are in history, even if you're in science or technology, will at least get a 1-year OPT. Okay, so OPT is for everyone. If a student again does a master's degree, you will get again another year of OPT. So every time you finish a degree, you get a 1-year OPT. Okay, optional practical training. What does OPT give? That you are able to get paid, during that time. So a lot of students are able to get jobs and get paid. But if you are in a STEM program, once again, STEM program, you have to be very careful and talking to the university and making sure that the program is coded STEM, because unless and until a program is actually coded as a STEM program with the immigration department, they will not give you this STEM OPT. So always ask your academic counselor, the university where you're going, that if it is a STEM program, because sometimes even if the program sounds STEM, it might not be. Okay, we have a lot of programs which sound STEM, but you have to research and make sure that it's a STEM coded program. Otherwise, you will have a problem with OPT. So you will get this additional 24 months of OPT in the United States for 3 years. And what is important about that is that if you are able to work for 3 years, you are able to work with a company who is going to invest in you. They are going to invest their time, their resources, and they will pay you. And some of the statistics that I have just downloaded, I'll be honest that this is from ZipRecruiter, and I have used their services before, so I'm plugging it in, but this data varies by $1,000 here and there all the time. So the average student's salary after studying is $61,000. So imagine if you came to Webster, spend $30,000 or $40,000 in overall cost. As long as you are getting a STEM OPT, which is highly in demand, as I told you, that everyone who graduates in this would possibly get a job there, and which average pays this much, you are going to be able to recover your money much faster and much quicker. So that's one of the things that you want to look at, STEM programs. I can go on hours and hours and hours, but I wanted to put a seed and then, let you guys take the floor and ask the questions. That's all I have, today. And hopefully we will have some questions to kind of like make it more interactive.
Sure. So thank you so much for your presentation. It was very insightful. So we do have a few questions for you. So we have a student or a potential student talking about how he's a recent graduate of electrical engineering. Could you talk a little bit more about your graduate program in data analytics?
Yeah, so our graduate program in data analytics is a fantastic program. I mean, I always use the word fantastic for a lot of programs, and that is because I really love them. And the program content is wonderful. So our graduate program in data analytics is a lot of data science, a lot of things about various instruments of analysis, softwares are being taught. There are some programming, like we teach Python as a language. We teach R as a programming language. So there will be some programming languages and information that we will do, but a lot of it will be based on apps and softwares that are used to analyze data. And then there will be the final part of the program will talk about implementation. So managerial decision makings based on the data, because a lot of things, data can be a lot, but what is the use of data if you are not using it for making decisions? So business decisions we will be teaching you. It is usually a 16-month program, 12 courses of 3 credits each. Often students finish it in 16 months. Some people take it for up to 2 years. International students typically finish in 14 to 16 months. The course is priced approximately $27,000 for the whole program. So it's not very expensive. We do offer some scholarships if you are interested. And as long as you have, I mean, you are an engineer, so absolutely you will be eligible to apply. I mean, if you have any questions, you can go to our website, just search data analytics. And by the way, we do offer, sessions on specific programs every now and then. You can download a brochure, read more. I mean, it's a fantastic program. I mean, students really get a lot of good jobs, international students in particular, in the St. Louis region. Just to give you an example, this week we are doing a student job fair from Accenture. And Accenture has recently opened in 2020, and they opened a office here in St. Louis, and they're recruiting 1,400 people to run their operations on cloud computing, data analytics, and so on and so forth. So you can imagine, just like, and they are here at the university this week to look for students who can fill in the positions, and they're having a hard time in filling those positions. So it's a good area to study, especially if you're coming to St. Louis region. It's a booming, growing area. Look at LinkedIn research. It puts St. Louis as the #1 destination in American cities for people to start their career. Okay.
Awesome, thank you. Our next question is, does Webster University have scholarships for international students?
We have very generous undergraduate scholarships. We offer up to 65% scholarships for undergraduate students. And on an average, everybody I have seen would get at least 50%, 40 to 50% scholarship. For master's degree, our pricing is very reasonable. So as I mentioned to you, most of our degrees, you can do it under $30,000. But we do have some scholarships, especially during the pandemic. We started this for a limited period of time. We are offering 15 and 20% scholarships. So you are able to then complete your degree at about $22,000 to $25,000. So that's kind of like what it will cost you. We are a private university. We are tuition revenue driven. We do use that tuition to build our programs, to build the facilities like you see at the back, this science building that we built and things like that. So we need some revenue, but it still is quite reasonable.
Excellent. Thank you for your answer. So we have another potential student wanting to know about the civil engineering opportunities. What programs do you have for them?
So Webster itself does not offer a full-fledged engineering program. What we have done is we have partnered with universities which are highly ranked, like St. Louis University, Washington University, to offer a pathway model. So students typically do their first 2 years with Webster, and then they would go to that kind of a university, which is extremely difficult to get into otherwise. So we have a pre-engineering program you can study, and then you can go to mechanical or civil at a place like St. Louis University, for example, or Washington University, which are nationally ranked and accredited universities. So those are the programs that you should be looking at.
Okay, cool. Our next question is, how long can I work in the United States if I complete a STEM degree?
So once again, 3 years, and then that is with the OPT, okay? Now, what happens is, like, I was talking to a recruiter, somebody who hires STEM students. They say that companies prefer STEM students because within 3 years, they can get to see you, your performance, and look that you're doing good, and they have enough time then to sponsor you for an H-1B visa, which you can work for as long as you have the status, and it is a pathway towards citizenship, permanent residency, and all those things that you may have heard about, which are of course subject to you making those cuts. But these are I mean, the answer is 3 years is minimum if you graduate with a STEM degree, but then your company is most likely to sponsor you. STEM graduates' advantage is that companies get 3 years to evaluate you. Non-STEM graduates, the companies are getting only 1 year to evaluate you. So by the time you get settled, maybe they do not have enough time to sponsor you for the H-1B. So that's the reason STEM has an edge.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And our last question to wrap up the Q&A is, what majors are considered science?
So that is a very good question. In the United States, there are codings which are done by United States. There's a body called USCIS, I guess you may be familiar with, and Department of the Homeland Security, DHS. So they have these various codings of programs. I can say that you need to find a database of what programs are STEM. Once again, any program that is from science, technology, engineering, and mathematics should be able to be STEM. But there are some programs like, let's say, MS in finance. You can have a program that is STEM, or MS in finance is STEM if it has a mathematical approach, but MS in finance is non-STEM. It is if it is not too mathematical and statistical approach. There are two ways of coding it. So usually look for the word MS or BS. Usually those are usually STEM. Once again, there could be some programs which are MA or BA, but look for a database of STEM. That is the best way to research. And once again, there is no master list because it always keeps on increasing and keeps on decreasing. The best way for you to ask is, you should ask your counselor, please tell me what are the STEM programs in your university, at your university. Then the advisor, whoever advisor means the person from the university who is going to talk to you about your admission, they will tell you if it is a STEM or non-STEM. One thing, again, US universities are very flexible in admissions. You sometimes can come in with a program and you can change it to a STEM program, for example, just in case you made a mistake. So you do have some chances, but do a research, ask them. The university should be able to know.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your time, and what a great presentation. I'm sure the students will be sending you messages in case they have more questions. And for everyone else, thank you so much for joining the session. If you'd like more information, feel free to chat with Sam directly or visit the Webster University booth. See you at the next session.
Bye-bye.